Now, Mimsy, Monty's ex-wife, who's still our client, remember we've done everything right. We've done our waivers. Turns up at your office to do the tax return. She likes going through everything in person. You know those clients that just like seeing you and having a cup of coffee with you and seeing it real life. She tells you that everything's been happening, what's been happening since divorcing Monty, and spends 10 minutes showing all her Instagram adventures. You'd love that. You notice there's many photos of her friend Sam, and they seem very friendly. When you get to the spouse details on the form, you take a deep breath because you've got to ask, hey, what's going on with Sam? I'm starting to feel like I'm invading her privacy a bit. Mimsy looks at you like you've offended her and you've tried to put it as tactfully as possible, but it happens. And I'm sure everyone's had this conversation. Why do we have to ask about spouse details? As tactful as what you are, you still have to ask these questions. Why do we need to ask? This is what it says. If you had a spouse, married or de facto, you need to include it to assess your tax accurately. Your spouse includes another person of any sex who you're in a relationship with, registered under prescribed law or territory, although not legally married to you, live with you in a genuine domestic basis in a relationship as a couple. There you go. Now, why do you need to you also need to disclose not the spouse, but the spouse's income, because it impacts the Medicare levy surcharge. Think about your private health insurance for your clients and how you answer those questions of the return. And it's going to impact family tax benefit as well. So it is important. But it can even get even trickier, I find, because we're not in the 1950s anymore, right? Even in a happy relationship, some partners have no idea of their spouse's income. Yes, Andy, again, it's really important because what you don't want to do is do the wrong thing and then the ATO will do an amended assessment or something 18 months down the track and all of a sudden the client spent their money on their Manolos and now they've got a big tax bill to pay back because the disclosure was wrong. So what happens if you don't just supply it? I get a bit annoyed a lot because the ATO know if you've disclosed the spouse, they should know what the spouse's income is. But we still have to put something in there. And what about the privacy issues? Right? So we're talking about Medicare levy surcharge and everything like that. And that's the impact. Because remember, the tax return is not just about tax. It's about all of government debt and things like that. As we know, with everything that we do when we say where our expected refund is going to be this, and then the ATO go off to Services Australia and then you get no refund back. All right, so that's what we need to do. Now, the ATO, if you're interested, the ATO basically say do your best, okay? But again, it's how we manage the expectations without crying and build trust when they've already spent the money. If you've got the disclosure wrong and the ATO come back and do an amended assessment after the date. What's May said? Yes, I had a client, one half of the couple who had kept their finances completely separate, put a note, didn't know. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I put in zero deliberately. Zero saying, well, they've got to have something, ATO, you go and find it. So sometimes, May, I do that. Again, I do get a bit frustrated when it's a difficult conversation I have to have with my clients for the ATO, which I think is beyond what we should be doing for them. And they can see what the taxable income is of that person because we've disclosed the top bit right. But anyway, thought it was worth ethically how we manage that because there's privacy issues for our code.